qualifiers, quite a mouthful. I'm Vince, joined by Dust.
I'm sorry.
Jumping into this first best of 3. Quite literally jumping into it.
Our producer just says, "Guys, can you hear me? Go, go, go!" Just like I thought we were breaching a room together or something. Like we were on the SWAT team. This didn't make any sense. But yeah, as Vince noted, I'm Dust. By the way, thanks for introducing me. I appreciate that. I just introduced myself, of course. We're doing the.
What?
Did you? And I just didn't hear you. That would be pretty reasonable, actually. Yeah, indeed. As we are doing the ESL One New York qualifiers, of course, taking place later on in September, but the qualifiers are right now. This is the first round of it, which means we have G2 taking on Pride, and of course, G2 is the heavy favorite, and that's when you have to expect an international contender against a team that doesn't really see too much of top-level competition, if we're honest. And in fact, the last time these two teams met, G2 pretty much blasted them out of the water. That was quite a few months ago for the Starlighter qualifiers, but they were two very one-sided scores, and we're on a map that G2 does pretty well on online. And when do you ever see pistol duels there? That was pretty interesting. Yeah, that's not really a duel you see too often from that position of box walls and sight, but Pride definitely not second best, as Exus has already dropped. By the way, for those of you watching, Jacko is Maniz, so okay,
not to be confused. Apex, meanwhile, is going to come around the corner and lands a beautiful one-tap. The bomb's already been dropped outside the ramp, which is really going to pile of pressure on. They're lining up, and Pride are bringing their way back into this round slowly but surely. Before Body puts down the guillotine alongside Apex. Morels, good luck to you, sir. To be fair, all 4 players are one shot away. They're all around 20 health. So, stranger things have happened, but you'd expect the crossfire of USP to rain out. And there we go, it's going to be Apex through the smoke for his 3K. Yeah, pretty easy pickings there for G2. I mean, they started out with a pretty early frag with an aggression at Ivy and didn't really have too much trouble finishing the job, as we are going to go ahead and see. And SMG picked up on Shocks. It's the good old MP9, the fur gun. There's a lot of people know it. A couple of UMPs coming out as well. One FAMAS on Kenny S. Apex will go ahead and pick up the Silence Colt. Of course, we are going to see Pride go for the pistol armor. No bomb plant in the first round, so this is kind of typical stuff. Again, we're going to see maybe a little bit of an early exchange at Ivy. There is some deagle damage that Exus is able to do through the smoke to Apex. Not anything too damaging. As we do see also a little bit of action coming out of T-Connector as well. So Pride trying to engage all areas of the map, but a push from Shocks in the inner halls will deliver first blood. I managed to snake their way out with Maniz. It's going to land the one tap behind the E-box. Going to find his demise to Kenny S. So at least Pride are putting some pressure onto G2 in this round. And both Shocks and Kenny fairly low, and now MBK joining his brothers on low health. Pride again could do quite a bit of damage, probably not going to win the round. Now the Exus has fallen, looking even more unlikely. Reitz, last player left, Deagle in hand. Of course, Pride going for the force in this round, so they're going to be screwed in the next one. And now it's just a case of keeping that economy nice and intact as far as G2 are concerned. And just trying to see if maybe they can't farm a little bit of extra cash on Body or Shocks by pushing down Reitz is probably the goal here. But in fact, he finds Kenny S, who's the man with the rifle at Ivy. Does a lot of damage, and he crosses his way in the E-box. The bomb, though, is so far away. There's really no chance he's going to be able to get that money. He's just trying to collect kills. And there's definitely some players low HP. He could find himself in a 1v1, but Body seems to have a good little maneuver going on here as Reitz tries to go back for the bomb. But again, with the health he has, positioning of the CTs, he really shouldn't be able to find a way to put this down. Yeah, with such little time, not able to cover each of his angles. Body from the side will take him with the UMP 2-0 with Pride into an eco. So this should be where you see the farming frenzy come into effect. I'm just curious if Kenny will put too much into this round, considering he wants to save up for the AWP. It wouldn't surprise me if we see him just stick with the Kevlar. Yeah, so he's just going to have a USP. 2.2k in his back pocket. To be fair, Shocks and Body both have quite a bit of money, so they can drop an AWP across if they need to. So, you know, Kenny's one of those players that obviously wants to have the AWP as much as possible, right? So, you're expecting to see him rocket out for the next round. Absolutely, that's what you would expect to see. You could even see double op coming out as well with the amount of money that's out there, and given that we are playing Train. So we are going to see Shots farm some extra dollars over here in the inner halls aggression, and this round is pretty much in the books. As Kenny S will finish it off with the USP. Picks up a free P250 as well. Does go ahead and grab that AWP. Second op is out on Shocks. Not surprising. I think G2 is one of the teams that push the double op envelope the most. Particularly one of the few teams that will do it on T side as well, quite often.
They kind of started a trend in that regard. You see a lot of teams double opting T-side now because of what G2 was doing earlier this year. But on the CT side now for them, and we'll see if they can go ahead and just continue things. Try to get this one over with is probably their goal. We are going to see some aggression here in ladder room, and Reach is going to pick up the first kill. So this gives Pride a little bit of breathing room.
It certainly does. And now that the player advantage goes in their favor, they can look to try and execute with smokes. This is where the double opt up is really going to struggle. They're looking to try and get their way around the back with Apex, pushing through the smoke. Shox is going to hold fast on the site with one. Going to be turning his attention. Beautiful no-scope onto the knees. And now this round is quickly shifting, but it's gone back in favor of Pride before Leslie gets sprayed down by Apex. And G2 will take a 4-0 lead. It was mayhem, it was chaos, and it was costly as well for G2, but they just about get the job done.
As you noted, it did get a little bit dicey there, but G2 do pull out in front, so they will go up 4-0, and now Pride, you know, as they start approaching max loss bonus, still no bomb plants, they're going to go ahead and go for the pistol armor buy. Kind of a situation where they're not really taking too much risk here. They are going to have plenty of money to buy in the next round between what they still have left, I mean, which is kind of an average of $2,000, and what they're going to be able to get from the max loss bonus in round number 6. So, see them setting up to do some type of quick outer smoke wall. It seems like a couple gathered up on ladder, a couple T-con, and so this is going to be the split into outer. We'll see how G2 handles it.
Back into hyper-aggressive tendencies by Pride, but they're going to meet the same fate. It's going to be a bloodbath, but they're going to get a single kill. Reach to the PT-15 Kevlar and equalize the economy. It's going to find Shox, but instantly downed to the hands of Apex. And, well, we expected this to be fairly smooth sailing for G2, and so far so good. 5-0.
Yeah, you always have to wonder about G2 in opening games, particularly early in the day. The French have always had a reputation for struggling with that, but certainly not an issue for them here against Pride, as we are going to see them with a pretty solid lead. The double op setup still in effect. Money is looking very good, plenty of utility, so all things are looking sharp for G2. Pride, though, they have a pretty good buy as well. They had the AWP in their own right on Manice. Shots, though, delivering the first blow in body again. This aggression from G2 across the map has netted them 2 early kills, and it's been like that most of the game.
Ooh, Kenny saw the barrel of the gun. It betrays Maniz in the prime position to strike, and it looks like it is going to be the flawless round in a rifle. Pride only have Exus. Does have the bomb in his hands, but he's stuck in T main. Still time to play with, maybe hoping the CTs get a bit too antsy and give him a couple of kills, but now he's been spotted. You have to feel his days are numbered. He's going to get Shox, drop down to 18. There's Apex on the return. Pride continue to find it difficult to really do anything on this T side.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting their wig splits right now. I mean, they are just absolutely getting crushed all across the map. I mean, when you see G2 just pushing out and grabbing 2 kills like that, you can't even get started. I mean, that's the best spot that Pride's had all game, and it just gets shut down before it even begins, really. And now they have to do a hell of a lot with a hell of a lot less. Just that 1 AK on Reets, everyone else on pistols right now. Limited sets of utility, as they do try to start working themselves towards ladder. So several members here could be looking to hit the center bomb site, it looks like. Boggy going to be there, his normal position. Sox has already rotated that AWP as well to kind of support him for this type of action. He'll put down the incendiary to slow things down. Pride will go ahead and start setting up some utility here in the Brown Hall. So the execute still should be coming here, but just slowed down a bit by Body's incendiary. May even reconsider, though. You do see a couple players coming back over towards ladder. Even the bomb is making its way into the bathroom, so not quite sure exactly what they're looking to do yet. Maybe try to throw a fake outer with a few smokes and then still hit inner?
That could very well be the case, because they have Maniz, Morels, and Exus all here laid in wait. Luz is going to be throwing his smoke over onto the site. That's 3 smokes. A Molotov is going to come out in counteraction, though, from G2 on the ramp, just to make sure they don't push down. It's getting a bit too hot for Shox to handle on the back of the site with the Orps, who's going to have to relocate. And in doing so, Pride successfully have made a move onto the site itself. The thing is, this is only half the problem, as the retake power is going to be very strong from G2. Reeks is going to come in for a headshot, though. 3 on 2. Make it all on Luz with his Orp at the back of the site. MBK with the spray. And G2, although they conceded the bomb plant, they're going to pick up the rounds. And I guess B is sort of the easier side if you want to just go for that balls out rush sort of play for the bomb plan. Problem is that Pride didn't have much in reserve.
Yeah, I mean, they did well to get utility out to get people in awkward positions to start with, to get the bomb plant down. And we did see Shocks kind of dealing with an incendiary on the back of the bomb tree, and that was kind of causing him to have to shuffle around, which I think gave a little bit of room. You know, also just some good smokes by Pride on the inner bomb side, particularly some deeper ones that kind of allowed them to push out a bit, get a bit of space, and be able to get, you know, a couple of kills to at least get the bomb going. But then after that, it was a complete shutdown. And once again, you're seeing Pride try to move fast, but it's G2 find the opening kills. That leg shot was really good onto Reeds from Shocks. That'll certainly really hurt. You see a little bit of follow-up from Pride, but it's still G2 staying on top.
Oh, Shocks. Damn. 4 beautiful kills with the AWP. He's looking sharp. Could he be on for the ace? Narrowly missing out. Body is going to meet otherwise to Morels. And Morels, to be fair, is going to pick up a second before Shocks connects and gets himself a cheeky ace. Very nicely done.
You wonder if those two G2 guys kind of folded to give it to him. You wonder. Just a little bit. Probably not, though, for honest. Don't want to take anything away from Morels. He was definitely trying to put in some work there. But unfortunately, there just really hasn't been much to talk about, really, for Pride. They've really been in the dumps. I mean, they've only gotten a bomb plant once this entire half. They've had to do a lot of saving throughout as well, but they do have a pretty good buy here. They do have the AWP in Manisa's hands. NBK, again, getting aggressive on ladder room. That has been kind of the response by a lot of teams on CT side train, actually, is just to get inside that room, because you can hear the pin noises when people are trying to drop nades to get into ladder, so you get a lot of good information playing up close like that. And then you have Apex as well, kind of just push that T, kind of, I mean, what room does Pride have to work with when you have Apex this deep, and then, you know, MBK's shoulder peeking your ladder? I mean, getting outer control at that point is almost impossible. Cheeky boost here.
Yeah, it is a cheeky boost, but it's not really going to yield too much. I'm just thinking, that's like, how did Pride get back into this? They've been bodied in every single sense of the word. They tried pushing on either side, played it slow, played it fast. Nothing's worked for them.
Yeah, these forward positions of G2 have been pretty punishing. Apex is going to get caught, though, so Morels forcing a little bit of respect out of G2, perhaps, by kind of holding on to one of these pushes from G2 and doing well with it. But NBK, the follow-up, it gets them right back in a man disadvantage on the Pride side. It hurts to see that. And they finally got a little bit of something going. They still get shut down, and now they have to play from a man behind in the late round. Just 30 seconds left. They have to commit, and there's the flank coming in.
MBK gets another one with 17 health. It's the bomb dropped. The woes just adding onto those Polish shoulders. Morels, though, has been consistently fragging, so MBK does finally go down. That nade has damage written all over it. Nearly puts Morels 6 foot under. Exus also dropped, but our body is on the flank. There's 1 nanosecond. And they also deny the bomb plant just to rub salt in the wounds of Pride. And it's happened so many times with us. They've got the opening pick, they've got the opening 2 picks sometimes, and then suddenly G2, they get a double or triple spray down, and the round's done. Yeah. It's just laid to rest.
This seems like the G2 aggression has kind of been the checkmate that G2's had throughout this game. I mean, it's either help them find opening frags and get really early man advantages that they can just kind of follow up for victories, or in a situation like that, it's allowed quick flanking. So as soon as Pride does find a little bit of room to work with, they're already getting backdoored, so to speak. And now they're left with just pistol armor as G2 is approaching double digits here in the first half of map 1. That is maybe the one saving grace, right, is that this is map 1. You still do have another chance, even if this continues to go on like this. As they do pick up an AWP off a shock, so again, a little bit of early aggression from G2 has been picked up on, but Pride has yet to show us the ability to, you know, tidy it up and finish off one of these rounds.
Yeah, that's a solid point. They've been unable to close it out so far. Sure, an AWP solid. They have Kevlars across the board with upgraded pistols. But time and time again, they have stumbled as soon as they've tried to execute onto the site. That flash from body returned for a little while longer. Maniz has the op, does connect onto body. Now, this should be the green light to try and make some plays happen. Time and time again, they've been getting down to the 10-15 second mark before they've tried to get anywhere on these sites. That needs to change. You can't respect G2 too much in these scenarios. Pop flashes out, 2 of them in total. Yields some real estate claimed, and MBK is only good for the 1 kill before Maniz puts him down. Apex will return fire, though. And that's all Kenny to sort his pants down. Please finish this kill. There we go. P250 finally coming good. And Pride, welcome to the scoreboard.
Yeah, funny enough, it comes on a round they didn't really have much to work with. I mean, they picked up an early AWP off of an attack on Shocks at Ivy, but they had to be a bit crafty with that round, and it comes out. They actually will get the double AWP for themselves. I'm kind of curious how they're able to use it again. On T side, double AWP can sometimes be a burden on whether or not you're going to be able to push a site the way that you want to and follow up the pick. Some teams can certainly make it useful, though, particularly G2 on the other side of the map here, but we'll see what Pride has in store with it as they try to go for that slow peek, but Shocks. That inner rotator is going to be able to find Manish straight away, so one op already out of the equation here for Pride. And again, they find themselves on the back foot in the early part of a round.
And this would be the nightmare of getting reset. I guess one of the saving graces, though, is it happened in a pistol round, ultimately, with Kevlar and pistols. So they actually have a bit of bank on the likes of Morels and Maniz, who are both around the 4K mark, but
right,
it's a very slight silver lining over a very dark cloud overhead. Remember, this is Pride's choice of map. Next up's Cobblestone, and G2, they're pretty good on Cobblestone, to put it one way. So it's not going to get any easier for Pride. They've got to get as many rounds here as possible, and they are trying to turn this back in their favor. Shocks will meet his demise. Luz straight out onto MBK, who moves out without the rest of his team. And that's going to cost him dearly, potentially his team. The Sentry is going to stop the bomb plant for the time being. They can wait for that to disperse before Apex charges through. There's the first kill in this retake scenario. 3 playing 3 with Kenny S up on the catwalk. He's on the prowl, ready to pounce, ready to strike on some prey. And Reitz has been saved by the smoke. He's going to spot Kenny S. Just sees a pixel and converts off it. Looking way better for Pride now. A body again with another headshot. He's keeping the dream alive. Luz, lurking in the shadows, can hear footsteps. G2 want no part of this anymore. And Pride have done it. They've been able to get 2 successful rounds in a row. That's going to build some confidence.
Yeah, it's good to see them finally coming alive, and they actually had the money low on G2, funny enough. I mean, you would think that G2 winning 9 rounds in a row, they'd be all right, but the last few rounds they won, they were only surviving with 2 players. So there was a lot of rebuying going on in rounds 8 and 9, and it's led them to this point where they have to just work with a couple of upgraded pistols. There's a few CZs out there. 1 P250, 1 Deagle. MBK again getting arrested in ladder. Tried to flash out on him, but he's still able to find the kill. Exus, though, with the quick trade, and Pride are fast to follow this up and look to get into this outer bomb site.
Exus trying to turret his way from Pop Dog. They do a lot of damage to Shocks as well. That nade should finish off what he started. And a touchdown will connect. Much better by Pride. Sure, it was G2 on a pistol round, but they managed to do it relatively unscathed. G2 straight back in for another bite. Pretty much M4s across the board with Kenny S on the north.
Yeah, so they'll just have the single AWP set up now over on the G2 side, but it's not as if Shocks is going to be too hampered by having a rifle in his hands. Probably one of the most versatile players in CSGO, and has been for quite some time, and you will see him coming actually over towards Ivy, where he's been taking up shop quite a lot. Which is kind of interesting, because I feel like it's usually been Apex playing Ivy in the past for G2. He's really been focused on the outer yard, and Shocks, who normally is an inner rotator, has been kind of at Ivy a lot. So maybe some changes for G2, but nonetheless, it is Apex with the opening kill.
Oh, I can see Apex was so desperate to pull the trigger, but his teammate was in his way. I think it was MBK. However, the trade still go in favor of the CTs. Exus trying to get behind the lines and spotted. Shocks will convert with the kill, can actually claim the bomb. Now this 1v2 is a little bit touchy for G2, but Apex is going to be able to position himself perfectly, land the headshot for his 4th kill of the round, so putting all those fears to rest.
So Pride had a bit of a streak going on there, but then G2 do respond, so they will make it to double digits before the end of the half, and they have a chance to maybe even build up the lead a bit more, as we do have a couple of rounds still left to play here. We'll see what Pride can do, though. Maybe if they can get to 5 and find Pistol in the second half, they'll still have some hope in this map. As you noted, this was their pick, and to be fair, this is Probably one of the maps you don't really think about when you think of G2, at least in offline play. It's been kind of one of their weaker maps, so you figure this is where you get your game in, because Cobblestone, that's where G2 are monstrous. I think they're like 11-1 offline on Cobblestone, and then their online record's also pretty sharp, so that's going to be an uphill battle, to say the least. We'll see if Pride can try to do a little bit more work here, as they are, once again, kind of keeping things a bit slow. This time we didn't really see G2 go too crazy with aggression in the early round, so no quick exchanges to start things off. Good mollies there to force MBK off of ladder room. That's kind of the solution that T's have to do now to get ladders. They have to dump a lot of investment, but just MBK re-peeking, gonna find two. That hurts.
Picking them one by one as well. That's so odd to me. The easiest kills that MBK could have asked for with his UMP. They did the hard work by pushing him up with the mollies, but just didn't follow up on it. Kenny S, uncharacteristically, is going to miss the upshot. It does give Pride maybe a slight gateway back into this round. MBK is about to eat that nade to the face, down to 42, doing 38 damage in total. Just 2 flashes and a nade left for G2. The time is on their side, and Apex again pops out, double spray down. Easy to like. It's a full house of frags, and MBK picking up the other 3. G2 in cruise control.
Yeah, they just had so much confidence that ladder room was going to be clear with those mollies they threw down. And I mean, they were right. They got in. They got 1 player down, but just MBK able to just peek right back, no problem with the UMP after the mollies faded. And that just absolutely rips Pride apart, as it's now 11-3. It's the last round of the half, and Pride have very little to work with in it. Just a couple of AKs and 1 MP7. Other than that, it's just pistols. Notice them gathering up in Brown Hall, but Kenny he's aggressive here with AWP, but he's going to get swarmed right now. No chance to react. That's a great opening pick for Pride. We'll see if they can use it to their advantage. His body also gets ripped through the smoke.
Okay, Pride, settle down. Calm it a little bit, lads. That smoke bang onto body is probably pretty triggered right about now. Apex, though, is about to return the favour. And he definitely would have seen the bomb drop out as well. It's an important frag that goes the way of Pride. Shocks will be disappointed he didn't come out ahead in that confrontation. It would have alleviated some of the pressure on A and allowed him to pivot his way onto the site afterwards to repel the oncoming push. But now that Exodus has got the kill, so much more control falls on the Polish side. 50 seconds of which to execute. If they lose this round, Dust, this is going to be a body blow. They've got to win this. They
did give time, though, for G2 to rotate. That's the big thing. They kind of slowed down. They didn't follow up rapidly. This has allowed Apex to get into a decent position. MBK still over towards Ivy as well, finds the kill. Now, they can shift back to inner, but they may think that Apex is still there. They'd be wrong, and that could be how G2 gets back into this. But G2 are second-guessing themselves now. They're realizing, hey, we're not seeing any follow-up at outer. Maybe they're going inner, and they're going to rotate together. This is kind of the damage that they take for Apex not having this information. And then Morales gets the kill, so that further sells it for MBK. He still has no idea where this bomb is.
Yeah, and only 17 health as well. So even if he gets this kill, you're expecting him to expend a lot of his time going onto the site just to find out, oh, I've been played. Now he realizes, and well, Larson's going to get this kill every day of the week. Pride do end in winning ways, and considering at one stage it was, what, 9-0? It's a mini comeback, but 4 rounds is asking so much on the CT side. They're going to have to win the pistol.
Yeah, you would think so. It's kind of crazy how that round played out, where you think that, oh, Apex, he takes a gamble, rotate to outer, and MBK gets the kill at Ivy, and all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, man, G2 actually have made the right call here, but there was that second guessing of themselves to rotate together back to enter that kind of led to their demise in that round. You can kind of understand it, though. And MBK gets a kill on Ivy. He doesn't see anything else outer, and Apex knows, hey, I gave up inner, so I have no idea what's going on there. That they would have to kind of, you know, think that that's an option, but it just didn't pay out for them. So Pride, they will come up with 4. Gives them a little bit of something, but again, you got to think they have to have the pistol, as you noted.
And even then, it may not be enough. G2 have a lot of entry power on their side. Of course, you're looking at the likes of Apex, who's had a pretty solid performance so far. You know, he's been consistently getting the spree killings underway. What are G2 going to shape up for? So it's more of a split attack right now. Coming down, Morel's going to get the easiest one tap of his life onto Shocks, but Body will return fire. That's a decent trade for G2. They put so much pressure on the connector control, and X is going to get completely domed as soon as he comes through there from the diesel of MBK. Reeds now, all that remains, and, well, it was looking bad before, now it's just got a whole lot worse.
Yeah, this one's pretty much set in stone, isn't it? The bomb's going to go down with Reeds just in a 1-on-4. He's got armor and a P250, and to be honest, he may think about just holding on to this. I mean, usually second round, you're going to want to do some type of buy-up with armor and upgrade a pistol anyway, so this kind of saves him the need to do that if he just holds on to what he's got. So G2, they will go ahead and push it to 12. And MBK may even stop him from doing that. There's the 1 dig. He's feeling it.
Yeah, when MBK's in this sort of form, you better duck and run. Apex 21-6 as well. So the players that you normally expect to be up there, top fragging the likes of Kenny S, having a bit of a quiet one, but he's not been required. I mean, that's the point.
Yep.
When you've got Apex teeing off and MBK teeing off, Kenny S, I mean, it just less pressure on his shoulders. So that's really good news for G2, not so much for Pride.
You also have to think that Body was playing aggro inner, and MBK was playing aggro ladder, and they were getting opening picks just all the time. And that really allowed them to net a lot of kills. We are seeing some early exchanges in this round that give Pride a little bit of hope, as they haven't get into a 3-on-3. They haven't been able to collect any guns off the back of it, but at least they have G2 working a little bit against themselves. They do spot that flank, though, that will give G2 a little bit of information.
This, as he said, is so potent, so deadly. Rita's going to get one. Apex out into the aggressive position with the AK, connects his headshot. Luz is biding his time in Pop Dog. But correctly, Apex is going to decide to plant on the safe side.
Yep. They knew exactly where he was. They spotted him flanking T-spawn a while ago, so they know that this guy could either come ladder T-con or be in inner halls, and they plant in just the right spot to avoid being bamboozled. And that will be the 13th round for G2, and this one is looking pretty rough on Pride. They will have to pretty much take a full save here.
They're going to go for the force.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think, honestly, normally, yeah, definitely would want to save, but maybe because they're so far behind rounds, they're like, look, boys, we've got to start to get rounds some way. Maybe this shows they don't have that much confidence in themselves either, leaving it to 14-4. But either way, it's going to be a very poor buy. UMPs, Deagle, there's very little left in the bank. Only $150 collectively. And they have got the first kill. Body is going to shut down Apex. What is happening here? Pride could feasibly win this round. It's all on Body. He's already got 3 kills. And on top of that team kill, he's been in amongst all the action in this round. He's got 4 health left. Reeds only needs to land 1 bullet, and this round is done. Now, the saving grace for Body is he has control of the bomb, and he has time, but pretty much everything else is working against him.
It's also true that Reeds does not have a kit, and I don't think there's one anywhere on the map, so he doesn't even have to win this round by getting a frag. He could win off of just playing the clock once the bomb is down. The problem is Body has no idea where this last guy is. It's so chaotic and outer in that initial push that it's really hard to have a read on what's going on if your Body... Same can be said for Reeds, however, so it's going to be a lot of mind games going on here. As Reeds is certainly, you know, worried about that flank. You've seen him check CT spawn a couple of times, but that utility will now give him a bit of understanding on what's going on here. Body's using that, though, for cover to actually slip into inner. And so Reeds still may get the wool pulled over his eyes with that molly that Body threw, and Body's even going to peek in. Oh, he liked what he was doing there, but just didn't have the HP. And so Pride do pull one over on G2.
The butt clench is real. You hate to see it. I mean, Body, I think, played that round almost perfectly up until the last moment. You know, he was just looking away slightly, and he will get put down. So Pride have done it. Their force buy does just about work out, but because they lost 4 players, it's going to be another force and a fairly poor buy at that. G2 know that Pride are ripe for the taking, so they're going to force themselves. So both teams have put everything into this round. It's 2 for 1.
Exactly. G2 smell blood in the water. They know what the money has to be like for Pride in a round like that. And so they want to see if they can't just finish it off here. I mean, if you win this round, there's basically nothing that Pride can do to stop you from getting map point. And Apex has already found the entry. MBK follows it up.
MP7 up close and personal is going to dispatch of Apex. But once again, moving together in 2-man death squads allows G2 to keep the pressure applied. Reitz, once again, blowing the survivor. Sprays wild, it's not going to connect, but Kenny S will. And Pride now, oh my goodness. I mean, they've got 2 players on 1,400. That goes to show just how wrecked economically they are.
Absolutely. And they're in basically a forced by to survive scenario because you don't want to give G2 a free map point. But again, what you're going to have to contest them is just not very much. I mean, you can hope for maybe something gimmicky, or maybe you get in a really good angle with the CZ and you kind of shock someone and get a free kill. I mean, that's really all you can hope for in a round like this. I say we'll stack that outer bomb site with 4 members. There is no real cheat towards an inner rotator. They have a very firm commitment to playing these forward positions over towards E-Box and Olaf. G2 looking to bypass all of that, though, as they are gathered up to do some type of split on inner through upper and the normal lower side. In fact, the heavier numbers are actually going to come out of upper.
Reitz down first. That's going to open up B. Only Axis remains on the site, but not for too much longer. Kenny in prime position. Oh, this is going to be teeing off their 4K. No ace today. Shocks, who picked up the first ace, is going to deny the second. Not that it really matters. G2. They have 10 chances to finish off this map, and it's going to be against Pride on pretty much nothing once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the pit they dug themselves economically, getting a reset in that 3rd round of the half. Just the UMP on Luz and some upgraded pistols sprinkled around. Full AKs for G2, as well as plenty of utility to back it up, as we do see them just kind of setting up default right now. Shock's kind of just watching towards the inner halls. Everyone else gathered up outside T-Con, maybe even just setting up for a quick outer hit. I mean, they do have people lined up with those smokes that would normally wall off bomb train. They're also just kind of making sure that no one's pushing Ivy first before they go ahead and go for it, it looks like. As I say that, they begin to pivot towards trying to get some Brown Halls control now.
Both teams pretty fluid, but you've got to keep in mind that Moniz is making a move behind them. He is on the flank. He's getting up towards the locker bathroom now. And Reitz being able to land that shot is going to keep G2 at bay. This is where Moniz could really come through for Pride, but he's taking quite a while. The UMP now, unless his hand's going to be good for 2 frags, and now here comes the flank. It came to fruition, and G2 will slip on their first map point. Pride able to pick up some AKs is going to bolster their economy, but it's still a long, long way to even taking this into equality. G2 will have another bite.
Yeah, Kenny S had so much money, he was able to drop an AK and still afford an AWP, and everyone else was able to buy up AKs for themselves as well. So they still have a really good buy in this round. Only bodies lacking a little bit for utility. Other than that, it's exactly what you'd want for G2. So they won't be too bothered by what happened there. And they're going to find the opening pick, but Morel's with the aggressive play at ladder is going to be able to kind of get it back in. But then, as I say, that Shocks goes to work. But it's so chaotic right now. It goes down to a 2-on-2.
Still so much time to play with as well, Dust. That was such a frantic start. Still a minute and 20. So it's not as if Pride can buckle down on a site and be guaranteed it's going to be A or B here. They're going to have to play fluid themselves. And G2 could just try and set up a trap and almost allow Pride to hang themselves here. Kenny S is looking for a pixel to execute off. Meanwhile, Apex has the bomb just outside of Ivy. So A certainly would be the likely decision here, it would seem. Luz decides that the best defense is a strong offense in this situation. And he is going to find himself Kenny. So that's going to put them now on a huge advantage. He's by himself, though. This is effectively going to be 2 1v1s if Apex can get this first confrontation under wraps. He could get picked off from behind. Reitz is going to be lurking, but he's going to go down. And now Apex instantly realizes, okay, the last player was Luz. He actually killed Kenny S around Green Train. Screw this, I'm off to B. And he will get a free plant. So this is quickly shifted in G2's favor now. Luz does have a kit, but no nades. It could be so brutal for him trying to push his way back onto the site. And to make matters worse, Apex has gone for the plant and he's up on the catwalk side. Not necessarily the first place. He's going to check if you'll us. However, he has now spotted Apex Bunker and taps and gets the kill. Pride refuse to lose. However, it's going to be 4 lost weapons once again. So their money is going to be tried time and time again, it would seem.
Yeah, luckily for Lutz, Apex just kept committing to that duel. Apex could have easily just fallen off if he missed the first couple of shots. When he had the bomb down and he knew that CT was nowhere near it. So he could have tried to play a clock a little bit more. I think he also had some utility to even put fire on the bomb and stuff like that. So he definitely could have done a couple of different things there, but he decides to go for the fight. Can't blame him. He's been playing such a great game, and you got to trust yourself in a 1v1 duel. Just didn't happen for him, though. Pride, they do take a round, so really well played, as that did get a little bit tough when Apex won that initial 1v1, and Z-Connector was able to get the bomb down. You fancied his chances at that point, but Pride, they do hold on, and they have the double AWP set up now, and they're up against a kind of halfway bought G2. This could be where they start playing a little bit of catch-up, or at least making the score a bit more respectable. Still, though, when you're Pride, one mistake and this game's over. That's the pressure that's on them.
Exactly. Did you see that?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that before, that door just fly through like that. Yeah, that was nuts. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Kenny got full on baked by that as well. He started to shoot at it. You don't expect him to push through a smoke like that. I don't know, it was weird. I've never seen it before either, to be fair. And now Kenny, speaking of him, he's in a duel to the death on Ivy. Maniz is going to pluck out 1 kill. Spoilt the choice, those 2 players down ramp, and Body will act as the decoy, allowing Apex to get himself a kill. Gets the second one as well. And you can see the confidence. He didn't want to just stick for the bomb. He wanted that frag.
He needed it. His teammate's so far away.
Yeah, he's just trying to waste as much time as possible with that smoke and the flash. He's going to get picked off, though. But, of course, G2, they are keeping the pressure applied. They're losing rounds, but they're taking some weapons away. Kenny, I think, to be fair to him, because the economy's so bad, he may just want to save the AK. He's like, nah, let me keep this AK. Let me keep some kind of a power play into the next round. This round's done.
Indeed, so it is going to be another round going to Pride. They've actually been able to win 3 in a row here, and they're still have quite the distance to cover to actually put this into overtime, but they're taking those first steps. So we actually are going to see a pause coming in. I do wonder if this is tactical on G2's part, just like, guys, we need to calm down because we don't want to let this game slip. We've been dominating, starting to let Pride sneak back in, so maybe this is just kind of like a mental reset type of timeout for them. And of course, ESL One New York's a really big event. I mean, you know, obviously we do have DreamHack Malmo. That's kind of like the big post-major event. But New York follows that up pretty quickly as another really key event for the end of this year. Especially with some of these new lineups kind of coming together. It's, you know, everyone trying to fight to move up the rankings. G2's one of the teams that kind of bowed out of any shuffling, though. And so that's kind of what is their storyline is.
Yeah, after a disappointing major, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going out in groups is definitely not where you want to be.
Absolutely not. But
especially since they won a title not too long before the major. I mean, what, they won EPL? So that's definitely a tough one. Only thing that was worse was FaZe going 0-3, right? So
yeah, how many people would have predicted that? I certainly wasn't one of them. But G2 decides they actually had enough funds to go for a buy, but I think the idea was to save for AWPs. So maybe not just a collective relaxation pause, but also deciding what they're going to come up with next in the following rounds. That's, of course, if they don't outright win this, because MBK's got himself a kill. Sure, both him and Apex have been dropped low, but G2, or at least in this round, there's a bit of fight left in them, it would seem. And even though their economy is not too great. Bluz, in the meanwhile, puts down Body. Kenny S is going to follow suit. But Apex is standing firm with his Deagle. And Shox gets wrecked in the backside by Luz. 9-15, but G2, the reason for their save, is coming up right now. Kenny S instantly in with an AWP.
Indeed, it's going to be AKs across the board. No double AWP set up here. Again, it's kind of one of the patented things G2 like to do, but they're not going to have it here. I mean, again, the thing you expect out of G2 is just really fast-paced play, a lot of aggressive play. I mean, that's kind of their trademark. I mean, they like to do that type of style. We are going to see in this round them actually go for some type of triple Ivy setup. Kenny S is going to be the one to take kind of the first crack at it with the hoping of a pick with the AWP, but he's got Apex and Shocks here, two very explosive riflers to be looking to take entries out of this area as well. So you have to imagine that while G2 are holding control of Brown Halls with Body, that eventually they want to do some type of split through Ladder and Ivy, and maybe even somebody coming back to T-Con to grab this bomb. But Morel's actually pushed T-Con, and Ivy's getting a little bit choice. I mean, they trade 1 for 1, so that's not bad for G2, but Morel's position could certainly throw a wrench in things.
It could be the linchpin, could be the key to success in this round. Just biding his time and waiting. He's going to be gift-wrapped the kill onto Kenny, and he will oblige with the UMP. Nexus now at the back of E-Box is unable to capitalize on the pick sweet spots for MBK. What a flick that is by Morel. Not bad at all. Gets a second as well. He's on for a third. It's not going to land it, but the damage has been done. It's allowing Pride to get back in position. They now have control of the bomb. Morel's has seen that for himself. And Maniz will finish off the round. G2. That is now 5 rounds in a row they've let slip. 5 match points that have been bridged by Pride.
Yeah, you got to feel that's a little bit of a mistake from G2. I mean, you've left T-Con out of your control that whole time, right? I mean, they've had basically double inner with Body at MBK, kind of playing above ladder and deep in Brown Halls, and you had triple Ivy. I mean, you've left T-Con wide open the whole round. You have to at least accept the fact that there could be some risk involved of just waltzing in there like that without checking your corners. I mean, you've left that space open for so long, but G2, they're not going to worry too much about it. They're just going to go for something a lot faster pace in this round. They found the entry, but Morel's carrying that AWP over from the previous rounds, putting it to good use. 3 kills. Good return, though, from G2. They could get this bomb planted now.
Collectively, only 28 health, though. And he's exceptionally low. I actually thought for a second that was a double nade, but not quite. They just died right after each other. G2, the struggle continues. Double AWPs in play for Pride still. Holding on to those. Morels has just started to really wake up with the AWP as well. It's going to be a real issue for G2 if they can't finish this off. And we know that G2 have a couple of very emotional players on their side as well, Dust, that do get in their own heads, you know?
Yeah, you also can see the force buying coming, can't you? I mean, they force bought last round, they're force buying again this round. That's where things get scary when your economy goes in the dumps like this.
He's taking damage though, so he's going to have to turn tail and run away. Vauxhall's under control from G2. 2 pistols though in play, Kenny and Apex. I just fear for G2 if they can't close this out in regulation.
The back-to-back force buys is going to be the talking point as well if this does wind up going into OT. I don't think either one of these force buys were necessary.
Down on the ramp, they're going to be walking as opposed to nading in any way, shape or form, and Maniz will capitalize with 2. He gets sprayed down through the wall though, which will yield a bomb plant for G2. And in the meanwhile, by the way, Kenny is making moves on A. He's playing Lone Wolf style, getting round the back, and the idea may very well be to flank into connector. I think he may have just been spotted now, though. So that is no longer going to be on the table. Apex needs to land this frag, and he will do just that. Morels meets his demise. Apex only on 5 health. There's still an incendiary in the hands. Luz is going to throw that in. Shocks has started to burn to a crisp. Luz will finish off what he starts, but that's all up to Apex. There's not much time left either on the bomb. Luz is going to have to sink this one. Apex spraying through the smoke. Can he get the kill? Apex, please! It's not going to happen, and G2 let another map point slip away. And that's going to hurt.
Oh, you hate to see it. You fancied him right there because he was landing some really nice shots. Even with low HP, he was still up to 3 kills. He was looking for the quad kill to finish off the map, and he's up to 32 here on Train. So he's definitely had a great game. So again, you really liked his chances there, but just didn't find the right spot of the smoke. And so now it's 12-15. Luckily for G2, they're back onto a full buy again, but Pride, they've done so much work on this CT side. They've really made this a respectable game now. They've really made G2 begin to sweat, and overtime's become such a real possibility. We've seen an early AWP exchange over at Ivy. It leaves things all even in the early portions of the round. X is playing a little bit forward here. That smoke is going to cause him to throw an incendiary to make sure no one can come out of T-Con off the back of it. basically lets them get no use out of that smoke that they threw.
I feel bad for Apex too, because that looked pretty bad, but he's on 32 for 14. He's having a beast map so far. Very unfortunate stuff, but as you say, Dust, this round really on a razor's edge right now. 4 on 4. Utility on both sides. Plenty of firepower on both sides. This is now 7 rounds in a row for Pride. AK has been picked up by Luz as he looks to maneuver his way through the A side. It's going to be a 2-2 stack. Nexus in prime position to strike. That flashbang is going to deter him though. Throws one back in retaliation. NBK's having none of it. Goes to his side, shielding himself from the flash. Reach was one, no more in this round. And surely now this is it, G2. You can't let this slip as well. Luz, the hero of the last round. He's got his work cut out for him. 3 separate angles. Kenny has spotted that. And there goes the kill. G2, it was laboured. It wasn't always the cleanest of CS, but they've got the job done on Pride's choice of map. 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, when you came into this, you thought G2 should have it, no problem. I mean, you look at, you know, the caliber of team that G2 is. You look at the fact that typically Pride's not involved in bigger stuff, and you just realize that there should be this huge gap in skill and experience. And then you look at the head-to-head history, right? G2 had no problems beating off Pride in the Starladder qualifiers a few months back. Very one-sided scores in both of those maps in that 2-0 series. And then you look at how this game started, right? I mean, G2 were up 11-4 at the end of the first half, and they had a pretty good start to the second half as well. I mean, they were really looking like they were going to, you know, make this one be not a non-factor. But, you know, Pride really did kind of muster up, and they went on a streak, and they certainly made this one a bit scary for G2. But in the end, the French do prevail. And as you noted, they will go up 1-0 off the back of Pride's pick, going into their own cobblestone.
I'm at least a little bit happy for Pride that they got something to stick on that map, though. If they get blasted out like 16-3, 16-4, as it was looking at one stage, then, I mean, going through into Cobblestone, I don't think there's any hope. Now, I think there's a little bit more hope. G2 maybe getting in their heads a tiny bit, you know, maybe some arguing going on, like, how the hell didn't we win that sooner? That was way too close for comfort. I guess I'm just trying to look at the positives here, Dust, because I think Cobblestone will be a complete wreckage. I can't see Pride winning that map at all against G2.
Yeah, not G2. I mean, G2 have been so on point on Cobblestone with this 5. It's probably been their best map offline. You know, Nuke, you might be able to argue, has been a bit stronger for them, but they've played Cobblestone more, and they have more wins on it. Like I said, 11-1 offline on Cobblestone compared to Nuke, which is 5-1. Their online records on Cobblestone is also quite good. So, yeah, this is where you think that G2 should probably just take care of business for sure.
All right, guys, well, we're going to head to a quick break while we wait for the teams to get onto Cobblestone, the second map in this best of 3. Still quarterfinals, plenty more CS today. We have the EU qualifiers, then the NA qualifiers to follow. So we'll be back in just a few moments.